Hey, yeah? Look at us, we're out. Okay, I like it. We got the energy in here like we should have bought tickets to the 7 o'clock. I like it. This is a real 7 o'clock, but it was sold out, so we got the 9 o'clock, and we're really trying to rally, you know? Well, I appreciate you coming down here to this part of Austin, because I'm going to assume people that like my comedy, you guys aren't going to be hanging around much longer after the show. This is we're dipping into town to see him, and then we're going to try to dip right out of town without getting any on us. Listen, I'm right there with you. Like, I like being around fun, and then I see it, I'm like, well, I don't want to do any of that. And I'm not like, I don't know, I'm like, well, those kids are like 21, I'm 38, I'm not that far away, but I'm far enough away to be like, man, I don't know if I was ever that fun. Like, I don't, to just wear boots with shorts, I've never done that. Like, what kind of wild child do we put on boots with shorts? What kind of, are there no laws? Like, what? Thank you, it's coming around, we're getting there. There's a weird laugh off to the side. Boots with shorts? That's the state flag, you know? This is where we've come. We got AC on the inside, we got a bear on stage for no reason. I don't know if this fits my motif, you know? I don't know if I have the amount of testosterone to just talk in front of a bear, you know? That's a certain type of man to just talk in front of a bear. Society's going in the wrong direction. I really need your votes this quarter, otherwise they're gonna come in and make the drag queens read to your kids. You know, youth today, they don't even know how to gut and quarter a bear. And I want to change that. Vote for Zoltan. Thank you. I don't know. We were silly. We were having fun. You can clap later. That's okay. That's why I like my audience. People are like, yeah, that's enough of that. I do like the bear. I don't know. Because I like to hike. My wife likes to hike. And then I'm like, we should know what you do in case you see one. Because they are all different rules. They're all very different. Like a bear, like a mountain lion, you're supposed to go, whoa, get out of here. Yeah. Yeah. You damn cat. Like, I think you're supposed to do that. Some version of that. And then a bear, you're just supposed to beg, I think. Hey, come on. Come on, don't. Oh. No, don't, please. What weak last words, you know? Oh, no. No, yeah, that thing would take us all down. I don't know if it's real, but oh boy, I just made eye contact with that, and I gotta tell you, I didn't like what I felt in my knees. I'll tell you that. That made me feel weak. That is weird. That is weird to, like, we only stuff animals, like, and you're like, yeah, I killed that thing. And you're like, and you kept it, huh? Yeah, I kept it, and then I positioned it, and then now it's in my living room. And you're like, wow, can I leave? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm pro hunting. I like that, as long as you eat it, eat the food. I don't know if they ate that bear, or if I don't know if you eat bear. I don't know what that would taste like. Probably a certain time of the year. Oh, you gotta get them. Those people that know so much. Oh no, yeah, anything before February you gotta throw out, and you're like, man, you know way too much about carcasses. You ever get into a conversation with someone, you're like, I regret it, but we're too deep, and you have no knowledge of the thing they're talking about, so you're just, you gotta look out. So if there's spots on the liver, we can't eat that. All right, I'll remember that. I'll remember that the next time I shoot a bear. When that happens, I'll remember that. I think hunting's all right. I don't like the big game hunting, like where they go to Africa and shoot like an elephant or something. And I'm like, nah, don't do that. There's not that many of them, We're just trying to hold on to a few, But then people have their reasons for it. I used to work at this mechanic shop, and one of our customers was a big game hunter. He used to go to Africa and shoot like lions and stuff, and he'd have them stuffed in his house. But he wouldn't call himself a hunter. He would say, I'm a conservationist. That's what they call themselves. And because I didn't know this, he's like, they have to buy a tag. You have to like buy a tag in an auction, and you spend like $100,000 to go, and they let you go shoot a lion, and then that money goes to like the park to help fund the rest of the park. So he's like, you understand, I'm not a hunter. I'm a conservationist because the money I spend helped to go fund the park. And I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, that's true. But that's also like saying, yeah, I fly to Thailand to sleep with prostitutes, but you have to understand the money that I give them, that goes to help their families. And so if you look at it that way, I'm not a pervert, I'm a philanthropist. Taking time out of my day to... we all do it. We're all hypocrites, but that is fun to go learn big words to justify the thing you do. But I do enjoy Austin. I like coming here. This is a popular town. You guys are the it. I don't know if you guys know it. You guys are the it town, and everyone's here. It's a weird mishmash of people that look like they shouldn't know each other. And it's all here. There's like a weird mix. There's like original Austin people, and you can see them. Every once in a while, they'll sprout up, and you'll be like, oh, that guy's been here since the beginning, you know? There's a certain look to original Austin people. It's kind of like a King of the Hill type character, you know? Like, not one of the major four, not the big four, but you know those offshoot characters that would show up and like date Luann? Like, remember those guys? That's like an original Austin, like a Bucky, you know, just come in with long hair. And then it just became like it's like everybody. There's like jack dudes here for no reason. Just ripped, just wide shoulder, baby shorts, just walking around. Just huge, shorts up to here, mustache. I'm straight. And it's just... the whole thing says they're not, but they are. That's how straight they are, that they look like they're not at all. Just ripped quads. They have like legs with abs on them, and they're proud, just little baby shorts. And I'm like, man, I wish I had legs like that to wear some baby shorts with like testosterone confidence. Like, it's a real like, hey, what about my little shorts? And I'm like, I won't say anything about him here, but I am gonna give a speech next to a bear later, and I'm gonna bring up your baby shorts during that time. I saw a guy going up the stairs with his baby shorts, and he was skipping a step, and I'm like, man, I hope he's like wearing a codpiece or something under there. Those are too wide of steps to be taken in such baby shorts. He might lose a piece of luggage doing that. You can't do that. That's gonna be a write-up from the local authorities or something. But yeah, it's an odd mix. It's like that, and then there's like computer, like text, like so much computer guys walking around. That's not the term, but you know what I mean. There's like tech guys walking around with their polo shirts. They all have little key cards off there. That's how you know they work at a job where you're like, whoa, you're like making the stuff, aren't you? They go in, you know. That's a real job. That's one of those jobs where I'm like, I'm glad I have this job because there's no way I'd have one of those jobs, you know? There's no way. I would love to, but I don't think I'd ever have like a whoosh. Whoosh. Oh, here comes Zoltan. He's our systems analyst. And how's the system looking? Looking strong, tell you that. Looking strong. Analyzing the system. Tell you what, it's going to look a lot better after I get my hands on it. You know what I mean? Catch you guys later. I don't have a job, but that sounded like I did right there, doesn't it? That's like a guy who doesn't know anything about his job, but he walks through, and you're like, what does that guy do? And they're like, we don't know. We don't know, but he's kind, and he leaves in time. You don't catch on to his nonsense, you know? It's one of those guys. But yeah, it's like, there's a lot of like techie guys, like computer nerdy guys walking around. And it's like, because the original motto of Austin was like, keep Austin weird. And then these computer guys came in and they're like, weird like us? And you're like, yeah, why not? You guys are pretty kooky. Why don't you get on in here? Why don't you talk to us without blinking a little? Yeah. It's a fun mix. I don't know. I was actually thinking about this today. Austin is like this weird little blip in the United States where it's like a little bit of everybody. It's a little bit of everybody all living together. If you think about it, because I know Texas is a red state, but it's a blue dot in a red state. But there's red with the blue, with the tech, with the bloop, with the kettlebell people, and then there's like hippies selling trash on the outskirts. There's like It's like a little bit everything. There's like nature, but then there's city, and there's homeless people, and then you can go kayak. Like it's a little bit of everything, all in the same. It's wonderful. It's. I was like, oh, we really can all get along. Like it's all right there. It's beautiful. It's all right there. Everyone. That felt like a speech in front of a bear right there, didn't it? He's like, this man brought unity to our fair town. Yeah, I like it. I like going to see all the little artsy things. I like seeing that. You know, we went and saw. I like going to. My wife I brought my wife on this trip, and she likes going to like those little maker stores where there's like a bunch of plants in jars, and you know those stores where it's like there's like rocks and stuff, and then you can buy a rock, and then there's like there's like a lot of Buddha statues. I don't know if you've gone to them recently, but they've recently just started wedging in witchcraft out of nowhere. It's weird. You'll go in there and it's like someone in like a hippie dress, like, welcome, there's like essential oils. And then you'll be like, oh, okay. And then you'll see like a Buddha statue. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, Buddha. And there's just a book with a pentagram on there. And I'm like, I don't know if this is the store for witchcraft. Like, this is all peace and love. And like, I get my energy from the sun. Also, do you want to hex somebody? Would you like to, while you're buying that flower for your mother, would you also like a book on putting a hex on your neighbor? Would you like him to sneeze every time he turns on the TV and just drive him crazy every time? Would you like to do that? Page 37 right here. The Devil's Cookbook right here next to this Buddha statue. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make it. Maybe it makes sense, and I just don't realize it, but it looks off. It looks unsettling for sure. But yeah, came in the other day, came in on Thursday, went to some high-end dinner, and it's super fancy. Some of the best food we've ever had. We went to a fancy coffee shop where they had to smell the dirt. Like I've never had that. They're like, they let us know, just so you know, we're gonna bring the grounds out and you're gonna sniff it, and then once you approve it, you're gonna, and I'm like, wow, all right. And my wife was like, do we have to? And she asked what I was thinking. I was like, thank you for asking. And she's like, it's kind of the fun of it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's fun. And they brought the dirt out. And I was like, it was such a weird mix because we're sniffing coffee dirt going, yeah, I'll drink that. And then there's, right outside the window, there's a homeless person just, and I'm like, yeah, make that 2. I'll get a double. And it was like art in the wild, you know. But yeah, we went to a fancy restaurant, told them it was our anniversary. That's our go-to, by the way. That's a nice hack to get a free dessert. If you don't know, that's what you do. If you get a reservation for a restaurant, they're like, any special notes? It's our anniversary, all right? No one's going to check. No, you don't have to bring your wedding certificate. Merit, you don't have to prove it. You just go, it's our anniversary. They're like, oh my God. And they give you a free dessert most of the time, which also makes it weird at the end, because at the end they're like, would you like to see our dessert menu? And you're like, yeah, but. And then now it's a weird standoff with the waiter, because you told him it was your anniversary, and he's like, menu? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. We'll take a look, but let's just see what comes, you know? Let's see if you guys bring out a little ice cream with some chocolate drizzle that says happy anniversary at the bottom. I love doing that kind of stuff. I like going to nice restaurants. That's what I like to spend my money on. I want to see what people are eating, you know? I used to watch, I grew up poor in the trailer park. I like dinner, I'm like Pavlov's dog. When a microwave goes off, I'm like, oh, I gotta eat. Like, I grew up on Hot Pockets and trash. I grew up on a meal where all your food was in compartments, kids cuisine, and it came in, yeah. And then if you didn't microwave that at the right temperature, your dessert would melt into your entree. Like, that's the cuisine I'm used to, and I'm not rich, but I finally got out of being poor, and I'm like, never again. I'm like, take me to the rich place, and we're gonna tell them it's our anniversary, and And I'm like, now I just eat bone marrow. I eat bone marrow like a sociopath. Give me the bone marrow. I'm just drizzling. Do you have any idea what a psycho you should look like eating bone marrow? They took an animal's bones and sliced it down the middle, and we're just sucking out the juice from in between. And then we butter it. And in the back of my head, no more. This is so much better than kids' cuisine. Just suck it out. Sucking out bone marrow. Oh my God. So good. That's why I have high LDL cholesterol. I recently found that out. I have high cholesterol. I got my blood drawn because I got a health insurance finally after 20 years. And that was when I got kicked off my mom's. And then I was able to get my own this year. And my wife's like, you are getting a blood test. You're getting everything checked out. We got to see if you're all right. And so they took 20 years worth. And it was a lot. The lady had a basket of little vials. There was a backlog there of stuff they had to look at. And I haven't got my blood taken in 20 years, but then as soon as it was happening, I had a flashback. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just somebody. Like, it's not a medical procedure, even though it should be. Like, there's such a drop-off from, like, doctor to person taking your blood. There's such a drop-off. Like a doctor's like, I went to Yale for 8 years, and the lady taking her blood's like, I saw an ad at the bus stop. And I got some at-home DVDs, and then they just let me plug a real one. And every time I've gotten my blood taken, it was by somebody that looked like they were about to get fired, and they were ready to cuss everybody out on the way. They're like, it's coming today. Which arm do you want to do? That's how the procedure started. I sat down, like, which arm we doing? And I'm like, I'm not getting a tattoo. Like, this is a medical procedure. Be professional. And we picked this arm, and she's doing the blood, and I don't look at it. I don't have an issue getting a shot or taking my blood, but I don't watch. I just, like, look over there. Some people watch. Some people are like, yeah. I like to watch as it pumps out of there. And I think we should put those people on some kind of list of something. You know, like, I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to vote. We should just know who they are and what they do during the day. Yeah, I like to do Like, I don't think they should be allowed at parks, you know, like, and then we shouldn't tell them till they show up with the family, all the canoes on top. We're here for the park, not you. Your family's allowed to go, but we don't trust you. Found out you like to watch it as it goes. And then she took out 20 vials, and then she's like, all right, now hold your finger here. And I had to be part of the healing process. It's like, are we even in a medical office? Like, no other procedure do you get done, or are you part of the bandaging? Like, no one's getting ACL surgery and then slapped awake and like, hey, put your finger here while we wrap up your knee. Like, dude, why am I a part of this? I should be no part of this. And then she wrapped me up. She's like, you can take that bandage off in 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be leaving this on for the rest of the day. Not only am I going to leave it on the first hour, I won't even put my arm down. I am going to walk around like this for the first hour. And then I'll finally go, I'm not taking this bandage off until I get out of the shower tonight. And my wife goes, don't bring that filthy bandage into this bed. And I'll be like, all right, are you sure? And then I don't want to be one of those people. I take it off too early, you know? I'm in the car. Has it been 20 minutes? And then just squirt. I'm like, My wife faints. I'm over there. I don't know what to do. I hit the wipers. They're going off. Wrong side of the window. It's just a disaster. That happened today because it rained today. Like, the rain you guys get is biblical, just out of nowhere. But the difference is you guys are in your cars. You know where all your... I'm in a rental car, all right? I've had no experience with this car, so it's just whoosh, and I'm like, where are the wipers? And I'm on the freeway, and everyone drives like they're like... Everyone drives so fast here. Everyone's just been up my ass. Like, the entire... Up my ass, the entire city. It's like they're just trying to drive everybody out of town. And I'm like, leave me alone. And so I'm on the freeway with a rental car, no horsepower, just trying to survive. Whee! Trying to get this thing to 70 so I don't get run over by a lifted truck with bullhorns on it. And then it starts raining, just... And I'm like, I can't see. And I couldn't figure it out. And I'm trying to hit the gas. I can't see. I couldn't figure out the wipers. The only thing I could do was hitting it, the manual, And I'm like, I can't get it. My wife's like, just leave it on. I'm like, it's not on. I'm cranking this bastard by hand. I'm over here doing this. And then I finally hit a button and I looked and did the back mirror. And I'm like, no, dude, I need the front. The whole thing took like 45 seconds until I finally got on the front, automatic, full blast, and as soon as I did, it was over. It was over. As soon as I figured it out, they're like, no more rain. Everyone's gonna be just fine. So, it was upsetting, is what it was. And so yeah, I have high cholesterol. And yeah, because I got my blood taken. That was a little sidebar we took. We had a split in the creek, you see, and then we took a little side creek and made it back in. But yeah, they took my blood, and then last week, or 2 weeks ago, I was in Florida, and they called me on Friday, and they're like, hey, we got your blood results. You got to come in and talk to the doctor on Tuesday. And I was like, that's not good. I was like, that's not good, right? You normally, if everything's fine, you don't even call, right? Is everything okay? And they're like, we'll see you Tuesday. That's what they said. And I was like, what? I can't believe they would do that to somebody. Like, leave you for 4 days just in your own mind with what could it be? We need to see you Tuesday. Like, oh my God, does she even work Mondays? Like, who's this? Am I her first patient? Like, oh my God. But they have this thing now called My Chart where they actually post your blood results on this app that you can look at with your not medical degree. And so I was looking at my own blood results, trying to make heads or tails of any of this stuff. I don't know what hemoglobins are, triglycerides, LDL, CDL, HCV. I don't know any of this. I have a 2.75 GPA out of high school. I got nothing here. I'm like, I don't know. And thankfully, my wife's smarter than me, so she took the results and then she put them into ChatGPT. And Chat was like, you have a high cholesterol and you're anemic, which means low iron, which is that's an oxymoron. That shouldn't be, because you have high LDL, high cholesterol from eating too much red meat, and you have low iron from not getting enough red meat. That means I'm dying from both ends. All right. That means the cure is killing me, and that means I'm done. I'm done for. And I got sad. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And ChatGPT's like, yeah, you can't eat any more red meat. And I'm like, that's my favorite kind. And they're like, yeah, you can't have any more red meat and no more alcohol. You can't drink alcohol because that also lifts your LDL. And I'm like, what? But that's so, for my health, I can't do that. But then also for your mental health, they're like, you have to socialize. You have to go out and be around people. And so now I'm going to have to hang out with my friends. They're just sober, just stone cold sober in their backyard while they're eating cheeseburgers, drinking a beer, and talking about their boat. And I'm just going to have to pretend just sober. Oh, no. And then what? Oh, the propeller? Not the propeller. You know how hard that is to care about your friend's boat sober? That's what alcohol and red meat is for. You're like, what? The propeller? Oh! You can't even sell it now. Like, I can't reach that emotional range. What am I, Robert De Niro? I need help from meat and alcohol to connect with my friends. And so I was all bummed out. And then Tuesday comes around, and it's my doctor's appointment. And the day before, they actually hit me up, and they're like, hey, we got your appointment for tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I'm coming in. They're like, you can also just do a Zoom call and not come in. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. Because I was like, oh, if I do a Zoom call, I don't have to do that stupid thing where you wait in the first lobby for 20 minutes and then in the back office, and then 30 minutes after your appointment, the doctor finally comes in. I'm like, this is perfect. They can just call me when she's ready, right? That was my thought. And then at my appointment, the nurse called me, and I was like, hey, what's up? I'm ready. And he's like, oh, the doctor will be in just a second. Just hang tight. So it was the same scenario, except now I'm just in her laptop in the office, and I just have to wait. I'm just in my kitchen staring at my phone, and I'm just in there going, this is the same. Why couldn't she just call me when she's ready? And so it was weird. I couldn't live my life. I couldn't speak freely. I couldn't play my wrestling videos in the background. Because what if she comes in and it's like, oh, Randy Savage off the top rope? Like, I don't want I don't want that in the background right before we have a medical conversation. So then she finally comes in and she's like, so we got your blood results. I'm like, I already know. I talked to ChatGPT. I get it. I'm dying from both ends. Both ends. My cure is my poison. I understand. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, oh, ChatGPT said I have high cholesterol and low iron. She's like, you don't have low iron? And I was like, I don't? She's like, no. And your cholesterol's not that bad. And she's like, you have to compare all the scores. So, like, if you're high on one thing but low on another, they cancel them out like a grade point average. You know, like, in high school, how you, like, failed algebra, but your wood shop, you got, like, an A. And then that's how blood works. Like, that mantle clock just counted out that you'd never got Pythagorean's theorem, and it all just kind of, that's how blood works too. I didn't know that. And she's like, yeah, you're okay. You just have to, like, you have to watch what you eat. She's like, what do you eat right now? And I'm like, just, whatever. And she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, wherever, like right now before I came on stage, I was just eating chicken wings and fries because that's what they had. All right. They're like, we have chicken wings and fries. I'm like, I'll do that. And she's like, yeah, you can't do that as much anymore. You got to be a little more strict about not eating certain things. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, and you could lift more weights, which apparently, I didn't know this, but lifting weights can help lower your LDL cholesterol. And it was something weird about a doctor, especially a female doctor, telling me that through the phone, where as soon as she said it, I just naturally went, oh, yeah, I can do that. I just naturally, like, bowed up a little bit. I'm like, I have a kettlebell in the... And so who knows? I'm trying. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to be more active. My wife and I started playing Pickle Ball. That's good. Getting it. That's the right amount of exercise. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not... Because Pickle Ball is the right amount. It's like ping pong, but a little more. Ping pong, that's a game. Tennis, you're like, good Lord, I'm not doing any of that. But Pickle Ball's just right here. Just a little hey, little who, little okay. Like it's a wiffle ball, so it comes at you, and then it just slows right down, and then you're like, right, finally, something my speed. I like that. You can hit it as hard as you want, but then the wiffle ball just, and then you're like, right there. So my wife and I played our couple friend, and they beat us 3 games to none. They beat us in an hour. It was not close. But we had fun. It was fun. We had a good time, and then on the drive home, my wife's like, wow, you were so good. And I was like, what are you talking about? We got our butts kicked. And she's like, no, but you were so good. You run around the court hitting the ball. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, I was a little turned on. And I was like, oh, my God, is that how inactive I've been in front of you? That's how inactive I've been in front of my wife that for 45 minutes I went... And my wife was off to the side. Oh, my God. Who's this Adonis? Who is this? I didn't know I married Mr. Olympia. Who's this guy? But yeah, as soon as she said that, I pieced together like how my wife sees me. Like her POV of what I do in a given day is just... Make one for me too. Like that's her vantage point. So for 45 minutes she got to see. And she's like, whoa, his arms work. Wow. His knees bend. I didn't know that. Look at that bend in those knees. I brought my wife on this trip. She's actually been on the road with me the last 4 weeks. We go home in between, but thank you. We go home in between. But so it's not like we're a band where we're always on the road. People always ask that of comedians, like, oh, how long is this tour? And I was just Thursday to Monday. Like comedians are always technically on tour because it's just the weekends, and then we're home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty much every week, and then we leave Thursday, and then we're back, whatever. And but my wife usually just skips the ones she doesn't want to go to and comes to the city she wants to go to. But we had 4 cities where she's like, I want to go to all of these, so she's been coming, and it's been she's been having a rough time. She's not a road dog like I am. I've been doing this for a long time. Like it's hard for her. Like she needs the hotel room to not be gross. And that is not on my rider. I've stayed in... This is the height of my career. Like I've never been at a higher level in my career than I have been. And she's like, this hotel's not that great. I'm like, you should have been here 10 years ago, all right? we would have been in line where someone's paying for their room with cash out of their sock. All right? I've stayed in so many hotel rooms. And you know, because she's used to cleanliness like a normal human. And she's like, these carpets, do they vacuum these carpets? I'm like, probably not. You know, they probably just give it a once over or something. They probably don't get in there. And she's like, you just walk on them barefoot? And I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing skin socks, and I have callousy feet. I feel like that prevents any type of bacteria from coming through. I got some real hard spots on my feet that are pretty much like work boots. I think there's certain corners of my heel I think I could stomp a nail into a floor. But she doesn't have that. She has very nice, soft, supple skin, so I think the bacteria does go into her skin. Mine's been hardened over years of staying at Super 8s and the Howard Johnson Motel 6 and, the La Quinta, a 4-point Sheraton, which 0 points Sheraton. I don't know if you've ever stayed at a 4 points. I don't know when they were good, but it's been a while. It is fun. You ever go into a hotel and you're like, oh, they're going to change the brand of this one soon. This will not be a Spring Hill Inn and Suites soon. This will be a Ramada or a Best Western, right? You know, it's one of those. I like those. I don't know. But now we're staying at a. It's fine. It's one of those hotels that, like, on the surface, you're like, this should be fine, right? And then you go in, you're like, not that good. It's just a little sticky. There's some sticky points. It's a little sticky. What? There's people. People are sticky. You know, and my wife, she's like, oh, can you imagine why it's sticky? And it's like, well, we're in bed eating food that we brought. And I'm like, I got an idea. I think other people have been in this situation, and they dropped a piece of a Cinnabon on the carpet and then just rubbed it in with their bare foot. And guess what? The maid's vacuum ain't getting that up. That's just going to be a little bit of stickiness. That's going to be there for generations. That's why people, because I'm on the road all the time, people send me videos of, like, people that take black lights into hotels, and they're like, can you even imagine what any of these stains are? And I'm like, yeah, but get your mind out of the gutter. How much of that is just Cinnabon? You know, like, I don't know about you guys, I eat filthy in a hotel room. I eat filthy in there, because usually I'm alone. That's where I get to eat how I want to eat. When I'm at home without my wife judging me. You know, like, because my wife and I, we like to eat, but, like, I like to, you know, I'm not one of those, like, when my wife buys a little dessert, I'm like, yeah, let's crush it. And she's like, well, why don't we just have a piece and then we can have another one tomorrow? And I'm like, who is this for? We could just eat it all now and get another one tomorrow. Are we rationing for the war? What's going on right now? Let's eat the whole thing. I thought that's what we bought it for, that we're splurging. I want to just, that's what I want to do. Like, if we get some sort of cake at home, she'll be like, here's the slice. And I'll be like, nom, nom, nom. And then I'll go for another. She's like, oh, you're going for a second slice. So I'm like, if you weren't here, I'd eat the whole cake. If you weren't here, I'd have no pants on, and I'd be in the living room with my cake, crisscross applesauce, nom, nom. 90s pro wrestling on YouTube. That's how I eat at a hotel. That's why those blacklight videos don't scare me. I was like, that was just a man having a retreat right there. That's all that was. That's all just local desserts jammed into the sheets. I don't know. Yeah, my wife has a thing called self-control. She has this thing where she can have a cookie and then just leave the plate of cookies. And I was like, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you just eat one cookie, leave all the cookies, and then just sit down and focus on the movie? Knowing that there's still a plate of cookies over there. I think we didn't finish what we started. I think you don't feel like a quitter? I feel like a quitter. Let's get in there, show these cookies who's in charge, you know? My wife recently got into baking. She made these delicious chocolate chip cookies, whole plate of them, and she gave me one, and then she ate one, and she's like, all right, and then she got out all this saran wrap. taped it up like a dead body, and then I was just like, no more cookies? She's like, no, you don't want to spoil your supper. And I was like, I don't care about supper. I can have a full meal after 9 cookies. I'll be all right. And then I went and took a nap. That was the only way I could get my mind off the cookies. I was like, I think I need to be unconscious. So I went in the bedroom and I took a nap, and then during my nap she left to go get her nails done, and as soon as I heard the door close, I just sat up like the Undertaker, just and I ran to the cookies. My brain was like, cookies! And my feet weren't even awake yet. I was stumbling down the halls, knocking pictures off the wall. I'm like, there's a plate of cookies, and I ripped the cellophane right off. I was smart about it. I didn't just eat from one pile. I picked it from different areas. So it just looked like we had less Jenga pieces when I was done. She's like, did you get into the cookies? I was like, what? God, I love cookies, man. They're so hard. They're so good. I could have had every cookie, and they're like, yeah, but have you had this one? And I'd be like, I want it. I've had cookies that weren't even good. I've finished entire cookies that I'm like, this is awful. And then they're so dry. What do you think? They're like a week old? And they're like chipping my teeth. My wife's like, throw them away. And I'm like, I mean, they're still cookies, for God's sakes. They're starving people. That's how I was raised in the 90s. If you were raised in the 90s, your mom definitely went, they're starving people in Zimbabwe or somewhere. And I remember that. And I'm like, that means I got to eat everything. That's why I go to the Husky section at JCPenney, because I know that they're starving children. I'm very happy to be in Austin. I'm happy to be in a happy town, because this is a rough week, man. We lost Ozzy Osbourne and Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show, yeah. And Hulk Hogan, which he had a rough end, but he was like Mr. America all the way until like recently. And yeah, it's a bond. I don't know if you guys grew up wrestling fans. I grew up a wrestling fan, so it's just weird to watch your heroes die, because it's like watching your parents get old. You're like, oh, it's coming for me, you know? And it was like the same week Hulk Hogan died. I hurt my back pulling my luggage out of an Uber, and I was like, oh, it's all crashing down, and it hurts inside. It's so dumb. That was his theme song. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this. He got in trouble because he said a racial slur in a sex tape. Thank you. This guy. This guy. I knew you weren't expecting me to say that out loud. Either that, or you're like, I did not know that. What a bizarre place to learn that, right? And you're like, wait, why did people hate Hulk Hogan? Oh, he used a racial slur in a sex tape. What and what? Which, what a weird time to use any slur, you know? And it was after everything's over. He's like, before I leave, one more thing. And the greatest part is the only reason that even came out, because the sex tape was out there, and then he sued to get it off. And he was the only celebrity to ever win a lawsuit to get his sex tape removed from the internet. I didn't even know they could do that, but apparently someone can just hit a button and you don't have to be on there anymore. And he won that lawsuit, but during the lawsuit, you know, they have like, there's like a court stenographer that writes down everything that happened in the video, and there was the transcript, and people were like, he said what? Which also means that tape was out there on the internet for like a year or 2 years, and just people never went that far into it to find out what he said at the end. You know, people were always like, I'm done with this. I need to go to church and drink milk. I gotta get the hell out of here. This is not the match I thought I was watching. And that means no one which, how embarrassing, no one even finished your tape. And that means that court stenographer was the only person ever, and she had to type it down. What a rough, that's not in the college brochure of that degree. Like, you know, if you're like, I'm gonna go to school to be a court stenographer, it's like, ma'am, are you sure what you're getting into? Because sometimes an American icon will go down, and you gotta type the screenplay out, you know. So yeah, weird week, man, weird. But it was fun. Flew out yesterday. It was cool. My wife and I came out. Flew out, it was fun. Saw a lady praying. And I don't know if this is funny, but I saw it. I saw a lady pray on the plane for the peanuts that she got. And she was like, just praying. And I'm like, but we're up here. Like, isn't it more? Just look out the window. All right? Like, sorry, that was really stupid. And I shouldn't have said it out. I turned to my wife and I said that. And she goes, you shouldn't repeat that to anybody ever again. And I don't want her to be right. So I'm like, I'm telling the audience. And we're going to let the people decide. No, it's fun traveling with my wife. I like traveling with my wife because she's getting tired. This is her 4th week in a row coming on the road with me. And she's like, how do you do it? I'm like, I'm glad you respect what I do for this family. I'm out here, all right? Early morning Ubers, 5 a.m. Uber. You ever take a 5 a.m. Uber with a guy you can tell woke up 10 minutes ago? Just that smell. You can smell when a man woke up. Like, once you pass 35, you got to wake up for an hour and air all that out before... It's not even a brushing your teeth and mouthwash thing. There's just once you pass the age of 35, there's an internal stink that builds in your body when we rest. When we slumber, there's just a bad dreams and stress, and you're like, the mortgage, and then you wake up and that stink has to come out. You gotta just be up for an hour, walk around, let your body air out. And he didn't. He woke up 10 minutes before he picked us up, and it was just, he hadn't even cleared his throat yet, you know? He hadn't even done the, like, he was just breathing in the car. Just, and I'm like, that guy just woke up. And that smell, it just reminded me of being driven to school by my friend's dad in the 90s, you know? And they're like, be good in school. And you're like, you know? It's not even a bad breath, it's just you're dying. You know, it's the internal, like your body's breaking down. I think after 35, you can't just get up and get out into life and be like, what's going on? You gotta take a lap, you know? That's why as you get older, you start having a back porch. That's what that's for. You wake up, you get that coffee, you sit on that back porch for about 45 minutes, get all that good stink out of there. Then you brush your teeth. Then you put on the shirt. You're like, now I can talk to the public. Wow. Hey, you finished my YouTube video. Thank you so much. I am personally very proud of you. You know how to finish things you start. There's plenty more videos on my channel to watch if you haven't seen them already. Also, I'm on the road all the time, so come catch me live. Go to zoltancomedy.com. To see my tour schedule. You can buy tickets through there, and only buy tickets through my website because there's scammers now that are upcharging people for tickets that aren't even good, that won't even get you in. Complete ripoffs. So only go to zoltancomedy.com, and thank you so much for watching my videos.